popcorn. We are two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Media popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo. Hey everybody, this is your boy Eddie Collins.
Guys, and this is Justin Brown.
And we are Media Popcorn, niggas spoiling movies. But today we're not spoiling a movie because this came out a long, long time ago. But to help us break it down, acclaimed actor, superstar, Andrew Chappelle, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you? I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. I'm so happy that you were able to come on. We met at an AFCA event not too long ago.
A beautiful brunch.
Yeah, it was a very nice brunch. It was a very long brunch.
What did you guys eat?
Oh, that's a good question. They had a huge spread.
Yeah, I think the shorter list would be what we didn't eat.
Okay. So now I'm jealous. So
you know, AFCA always puts on beautiful events. For those of you who don't know, African American Film Critics Association, I mean, they really do it right. And it's always nice to be in a room with other Hollywood movers and shakers of color.
That's right. We were at a table with I believe Ava DuVernay's mom, which was interesting.
No way.
Yeah, that was her name was Darlene, like, because that's my great aunt's name, and I was like, oh, okay. And then she's like, oh, my daughter's Ava, and I'm like, oh, okay, just gonna stun on me while I'm trying to drink this mimosa.
Wow, that's interesting. I actually ended up at a dinner across from Ava DuVernay quite by surprise last week, which
wow,
I had no chill.
That's Hollywood, baby. That's Hollywood.
I had no chill. I was totally starstruck by her. What a talent.
Absolutely. But you're also a talent yourself, sir. You're on Blindspotting, which just released its second season on Starz, which is fantastic. Justin and I are huge fans of the movie. That's why when I heard you were on the show, I'm like, we got to get you on because we love the movie. We actually saw it in the theaters, and I remember we were telling everyone about it. I think I tweeted at Raphael about it, how much we loved it. Yeah, I mean, what's it been like being on that show and just being part of that family?
Yeah, I was thrilled when I said it to you, your reaction. I was like, oh my God, he knows the property. Blindspotting is a really special project. It's totally unique. It's totally unlike anything else. It is why we responded so viscerally to the movie. I mean, I remember seeing that movie for the first time and being speechless. I texted David right after, and I was just like, I don't know what to say to you. I just need to tell you that I am moved and I'm going to be thinking about it for a long time. And it's one of those movies that it makes you think about it for days, weeks, years later.
Yep.
And as it pertains to the series, when I moved out to LA, I had an idea, that I wanted to be on television, but that there's a wide range of TV.
Yes, there is.
And so to be able to be on a show as impactful as Blindspotting, that's talking about real issues that are happening to real people in our country that we don't oftentimes get to see navigate these situations in a empathetic, holistic way. I mean, we're really seeing all the aspects of how someone from a family going to prison, how does that affect everyone in the family, their mother, their girlfriend, their son. And we don't even know why really he's in prison.
Yep.
We don't know.
That was interesting.
It's actually irrelevant, the why.
Mm-hmm.
And because the show is about how does it affect the others, and then when you pile on the spoken word and the dance on top of it being a dramedy, it's told with comedy. So I, as you can tell, I feel passionately about it because it's a special show. It's unlike anything else that's out there, and you can watch it on Starz. New episodes come out every Friday.
Absolutely. And they're
Oh,
also
boy.
like, short episodes too. They're like average, I think, around 30 something minutes. Like it's a fast series to get through.
And they pack a lot into that 30 minutes,
Yes,
don't
yes,
they?
they do. Yes,
Holy
they
cow.
No
do.
wasted time. I like it.
But you also have a short film called Fanatic, which the premise alone, like just I can't wait to see this thing. So please tell the folks about that film and how it came together.
Well, I'm a nut, and I'm lucky enough to get to be some of the comic relief in Blindspotting. But a lot of my inspiration as a writer and a creator came from watching Will and Grace growing up and 30 Rock. And, I love that really joke heavy comedy. So I was like, let me try my hand at it. And so originally I had placed it with like a 2-man vaudeville act, and they had this really inappropriate act that, every audience was just left horrified. But I was like, I don't really know that much about vaudeville. Like, what's the era that I really know? And I was like, well, as a kid of the late 90s, it's boy bands, baby.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
go.
And so, really to make the comedy pop, I was like, let me make their circumstances as dire as possible. Let me just like really make them have to work for this potential prize. And so I had a great time, and I got to work with a lot of friends and call in a ton of favors. I had no idea how much work it took to put on a movie. But I know now, and I've totally caught the bug. All I could think about while I was in the throes of desperation during post-production was, I can't wait to do the next one. So we are definitely heavily into the festival season for Fanatic. I'm so overwhelmed with how it's been received. I don't know that there's another feeling quite like being in a theater and hearing how your movie is received. And no one knows that it's your film. I like the first time I saw it, I sat in the back and just kind of hid because I didn't want people to react based on me being there, because I'm also in it. So yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it, and I look forward to seeing what happens with it next. We're right now we're working on developing it into a full-length feature.
I was going to ask. Yeah. Okay.
There's there's a lot there, and I've got some help with some of my writing friends and producing friends, and so we're taking our time, but we're moving at a pace.
I mean, you're striking at a good time, because right now with all the boy bands kind of doing like their own thing, like coming back with like mini concerts, you got Lance Bass's podcast that's really popular. There's a lot of potential for some fun appearances to pop up.
Well, listen, all of us millennials, we're now at that age where we got the buying power.
Yep, we're nostalgia. It's all about the nostalgia.
The nostalgia, yeah. I mean, in the short film, it's the boy band is like, they're both 2 gay guys, and that's really the real reason why the band didn't succeed, was because it was the 2000s and you couldn't really be out and
true.
A huge success back then. In the movie, in the full-length feature, I've changed a few things around to kind of open the script up a bit. But I do hope that it gets made. I mean, I think it would be an extraordinary feat to go from a little idea I had during the pandemic, from short to feature. But all will be revealed in time.
As the wise wizard Dumbledore once said. I'm terrible at improvisation. I'm terrible at improvisation. But Andrew, we're rooting for you. Like, I'm so excited to see where your project goes from there. And if you need two dudes to play Casey and JoJo in the movie, hit up Justin.
All my life, I pray for someone like you.
I'll shave my head. We could do it. We could do it.
Oh man, those men sang.
They
Yes,
did. They
Yes,
did.
they did.
And
They
then,
brought the
And
church vocal to the R&B track.
and they drank and they they did drugs. Just like every other musician.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I saw a video of Bobby Brown recently at a New Edition concert, and he tapped out. He was like, "I'm
He
not."
said, "Get somebody else to do it."
So
Get somebody else to
I
do it.
actually saw New Edition in concert and they were also featuring Jodeci.
Oh my
Jodeci
God.
opened up for them and Charlie Wilson. Jodeci, they actually hit it. They came out and they did exactly what you wanted from Jodeci. Charlie Wilson, go ahead.
I said, I'm just thinking about the Alizé sales and the Hennessy sales at that concert, honey. The Alizé was popping.
The Hypnotic was flowing.
The Hennessy.
The Charlie Wilson just destroyed. Like almost stole the show. New Edition was great, but Bobby Brown was making me laugh so hard inside because like everyone was like collectively like, come on, Bobby, you got these steps, you can do it. So it was like we were all coaching Bobby Brown through the entire show. But I don't know why we love him so much.
Well, who is we?
Out there,
I would say, Black kids who grew up in the 80s. Like every little step I take, that song just does something to me.
Well, the Ghostbusters too, the Control, that was a hell of a song. Tenderoni.
I guess he missed me. He missed me because I grew up in a Whitney Houston household.
Fair.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Fair. I mean, we had the show Being Bobby Brown, where Bobby and Whitney really just went off the rails. That was just a wild one.
And I do think the same way, like I'm a Mariah Carey fan through good, bad, and any weight class. It was the same way I felt with Whitney Houston. It was just like I loved her at her greatest love of all at the AMAs in 1980, whatever, and I loved her at Being Bobby Brown because I loved her.
Yeah.
So it's Well,
I also think Bobby Brown, everyone's because like what he lost Whitney, obviously lost. They lost Bobby Christina, and then they lost their son. I think a few months before they went on tour. The tour that I saw recently. So I think it's like all of the circumstances surrounding around him. Everyone's like really pulling for him.
I see. Wait, is this the son? Not to get off topic, but is this the son that Bobby Christina was dating? But
no, this is a different. This is a different.
This is different. This is different son.
That's such a unsettling story. I don't know what they're gonna like. That's gonna be some type of crime drama series. That's so unsettling how that all.
Yeah, they're going to need to do some investigative reporting for sure on who's what, where, and why.
Yeah, that's it. But everyone, we're here to talk about For Your Consideration, a Christopher Guest movie.
I'd rather talk about anything other, but go on.
Did you ever watch like these films with Christopher Guest, like The Waiting for Guffman, A Mighty Wind, Best in Show?
Oh yes. Oh my gosh.
Justin,
that's why I leapt at the opportunity when I saw the options. I said, "Oh, definitely For Your Consideration," because full disclosure, For Your Consideration was probably the film in that canon I knew the least.
Okay,
but boy, do I know it now.
It's not my favorite out of all of them. I think I like it a little bit more than A Mighty Wind. But like for me, like Best in Show is probably the funniest one. But this one had some moments like Catherine O'Hara. She doesn't miss. She's always hysterical.
She's wild.
Eugene Levy is out of his goddamn mind. Fred Willard was also equally crazy.
That's who I'm looking. I have to.
Ricky Gervais's character was a bit.
Yeah,
I wasn't a fan of that. Like especially when he was like doing the home for Thanksgiving. I didn't really get why he had to pop in there as the producer.
Jane Lynch.
Yep, that's right. That was her.
My favorite character though in the movie is Harry Shearer.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he does that MTV show at the end.
Holy
Oh
crap.
my God, the transformations. I mean, so yeah, the boy does the film give you a beginning, middle, and end.
Yes, it does. Oh boy.
And you know, they do, I mean, they really do have great reveals having them come out on those talk shows. I particularly love Catherine O'Hara as what's her name? Who's having a huge comeback now.
Marilyn Hack.
Jennifer.
Her last name is Hack. You know.
Yes, exactly. No, as Jennifer, not Jennifer Tilly. She's on
Coolidge. Jennifer Coolidge?
No.
It's her as Jennifer Coolidge, essentially, when she her
yeah.
big, you know, transformation at the end with the work done and everything in the boobs. But boy, is it a window into Hollywood.
Oh boy. Yeah.
There's truth in comedy.
True. You know, because like I watched this movie, I'm just like, this is just madness. This whole movie is just madness. But I was like, but at the same time, this is true madness. So like you can't really be mad at it because that's what it's like.
Especially back then when the internet was, it was so funny, like seeing how people were like the World Wide Web and like, you know, still getting an idea of how the internet worked. And then Catherine O'Hara's character's like, I heard there's something on the internet that said, you know, I could be up for Oscar.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
And then
it's like
also
some random person.
When he has his cell phone and he's like, yeah, isn't this great? We don't have to go to a payphone. But you know, I mean, I guess the likelihood of a film transforming that like intensely in production is not the most realistic, but I essentially that's what happens when, like, you know, people buy scripts, you know, it's like oh, we love this idea, except dinosaurs. Like what?
Yeah. I mean, it's just funny, like that a movie called Home for Purim, which they had a hard time explaining the holiday. And it's just this really low budget. It's shucksy, taking place in the 1940s. And just like seeing the cast just in their different ways deal with the Oscar buzz and how insane they become, it does really become unhinged towards the third act. It's great.
Yeah, it completely unhinged.
Catherine O'Hara's, because I just rewatched it moments before we got on the Zoom, but there's a shot where whoever is telling Catherine O'Hara that there's Oscar buzz, and they just stay on her.
I know it's
for like an extremely long time, and you get to see the actress process the information. And you know, I mean, one of my favorite lines in the movie is like, "Oh, it was just like it was an honor to even be almost nominated."
Oh yeah.
So it's like, and who is this person who said, like, who is the person who said it?
That was Harry.
Harry is the one who said,
at the end when he's doing that commercial with the balls,
the weird what you call it, basically Hawaiian hula. Well, I don't even know. That was
it was
crazy.
weird, like balls that you just swing around that hit you in the groin. It was very odd. I didn't know what was he selling.
There's also so many, I mean, the script has so many jokes in it. Like, I mean, even just like at the very beginning when Catherine O'Hara, like, you know, pulls up to the guard station. He's like, "Oh, weren't you in that movie?" "No, it was you. You had that amazing moment where you punched that little girl in the face."
Oh yeah. With Steve Renazzezi, right? That's who that comedian.
They have so many great like ins and outs of the scenes.
Yeah. I think. Oh, sorry, Justin.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, because for this, you know, Christopher Guest does a lot of improvisation. Like he kind of has like a skeleton plot and then everyone improvises. I think that's why for me, this is like towards the lower end of all the films, because the improv, it doesn't really go like very far in a lot of scenes. It doesn't propel the story forward versus just being in that moment. And I think if you allow yourself just to be in those moments, yes, it's funny, but as an overall story, I think it had less of an impact, like a Waiting for Guffman or something like that. But it was still entertaining. It's just that I would have liked to dig in deeper to the psyche of the main cast, especially the kid who played the brother that actually did get the nomination. Yeah. I would have loved to know a little bit more about like his mindset during all this, because he wasn't getting any attention.
But also, what happened to him? He just like disappeared.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like he just disappears. It's
Everyone,
like he doesn't care.
everyone's living off the hype, and then like they have the crazy ass publicist that's getting the other folks like up on like radio and TV shit, and he's just he's just a working actor. He like went to sleep when he got the call for the Oscars, where everyone else was up.
Wasn't I mean he's the one that was like the one legitimate actor on set. No, he's the one that's talking about his motivation and I'm thinking about this. And Christopher Guest said, okay, wait, hold on. No one, when you look at a movie, nobody wants to know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
But I mean, Catherine O'Hara, I think, has the biggest transformation in the movie, because she does start the movie off very, humble and grounded, because of those first scenes that they're filming, she's actually like giving a great performance. And it made me wonder, like, oh, could this movie have been really great? Could Home for Purim, is that the name of the movie?
Well, it gets called Home for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So when it was Home for Purim, I was just like, man, I wonder if like with just like a slightly different camera angle and like different lighting, could the movie have been great?
Well, I mean, they did get good reviews at the end. Like that's like the Siskel and Ebert show. They like said that they loved it. But I love that to your like thing about the lighting. When Christopher Guest tells the DP, he's like, I want all the lights turned up. He's like, why? It's gonna look terrible.
This is
You're in a sports arena.
Very niche, but there's like a long shot with Christopher Guest, like, and he goes up. It's when he wants Catherine O'Hara to like faint from her womanhood.
Yes.
And he walks up onto like the porch, and there's this like super like wide shot, and they just get his shoes, his sneakers, and it's like the most directory shoot ever, because it's like cool sneakers, like really cool sneakers. He had really cool sneakers on, which I just as someone who's worked with many directors, I feel like a lot of times directors have like a cool sneaker on, but then like
interesting
a button-up shirt and like cargo khakis.
yeah and a hoodie over it. And they're like, so we're gonna do this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his performance as a director was batshit crazy, and I loved every moment of it. It was so like, because he just seemed like he was on another planet. Even when he's watching the scene and eating sandwiches, I'm like, does he know what's going on? Like,
but again,
it's Hollywood.
He's drawing from something.
Yeah, we all had to work with like. I mean, I know Andrew, without naming names, but if everyone could share a story about working with a director that was either aloof or like maybe had a different approach to everything than what you were used to.
Well, instead of telling my story, I'll tell someone else's story. How about that?
Less legal consequences that
exactly. I was because I really haven't had many bad experiences with directors, but I don't think I've had any really. But when I was a young boy, my mentor growing up was Hal Williams from 227 and Sanford and Son and all that.
Yeah.
And he was filming a movie, and it was on one of the big lots, and he like let me tag along and be on set with him. And I'm a theater trained guy. I started doing theater when I was a kid, and so we're on set, and they just start doing the scene. I didn't see a director. I didn't see anybody talking to anybody. And that was just, and so I asked him at lunch, and I was like, how do you guys know what to do? And like, is somebody telling you what to do? And he says, no, the director, he's probably over in the corner someplace watching a monitor. And it was like, I was a little kid, and it was like my first moment. I was like, how, so they're doing the scene, but the director isn't actually directing them.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that I think is kind of interesting with like between like theater and television and film. When you audition for a theater play, they kind of cast you on your potential. They'll be like, oh, like that was really great. I want to get him in the room and see what we can make together. Whereas I feel like in TV and film, you make a self-tape and they want to see the performance you're going to give. because when you get on set, you don't really have like a ton of time to be like workshopping what's going on, unless you're a huge star and they're shaping it around you, which I hope to be one day.
Don't
Yes,
we
absolutely.
all?
But for now, I need to be polished on that self-tape.
So I guess my experience, I was the opposite. I worked with a director who was a part of everything. Oh, he was a part of everything, and he was absolutely batshit crazy. He was. I mean, he literally had an emotional breakdown midway through the film, and we were at a like it was like kind of like a break. They had like a day break, and just everyone just went to a bar, just hanging out, blowing off a little steam. And he had an emotional breakdown, and he declared his love for one of the actresses, and then they had to carry him out of the bar, like by his feet and by his hands, pull him out of the space. I'm just, and like luckily I wasn't there for that. So like I heard about it because I left set for like 2 days for like a family thing, but like I came back, I'm just like, wait, what happened? Like what? And then I got to walk back into all the aftermath of all that. So the whole rest of filming was a complete and utter shit show, because now you have this guy who just created this set, which is just a complete fucking shit in shambles. But it was something to behold.
It sounds like it, and honestly, how original for a director to fall in love with an actress.
Yeah, who would have thought, right?
Yep. I didn't have any I haven't had like any crazy director experiences. I guess like when I did this Love and Hip Hop commercial, I was a stand-in for Jim Jones. I got booked like last minute. It was so terrible. And he was like, "Hey, can you rap?" And I was like, "Nah, like y'all should have prepared me for that." Like, what do you want me to do? Like a Diplomat's verse? Like, what am I gonna do? Like, and I was gonna see with Olivia. I'm like, I'm not gonna rap in front of her. Or then there was the director for the short film that we watched for our podcast called Green that I did back in college.
Oh boy.
I was actually afraid of my safety because the main character that I was acting against, he was out of his goddamn mind. He had like very much like it just was not a good vibe. And like there was scenes where we had to get physical with each other. And I told the director, I'm like, I think he might really try to hurt me. And the director's like, he's doing his own thing, man. Just go with it. And I was like, oh no.
Go with death.
Yep.
I have this thought sometimes. I'm like, man, am I too sane to be like one of those actors, that just like really loses it? Like, wouldn't it just be nice to just kind of lose it?
Do you want to though? Because I feel like there's no coming back from that. I feel like when you get to a Jared Leto, like out of your mind, I don't know if there's any return to normalcy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I also feel like people with extreme celebrity, they're also not having to like live and operate in the world like we do. Like, I went and got a coffee and like spoke to a woman and was like, "Hi, can I have a coffee?" And like I put my card on the machine. Like, I don't think he has to really do that or like take the garbage out, but who knows? Maybe he wants to. But I just feel like, at a certain point, life probably is unfamiliar. So it would be a little easier to lose your grasp on
reality and everything that's right and true.
Yeah. I mean, like, even just like look at the Met Gala every year. It's like it's such an experience, it's such a moment. And I like to imagine that I would be able to be there and understand everything. But there's so many steps to get there and wear the thing and be, there's so many steps to that.
That's right. I mean, people on the set and for Home for Purim, a Purim, is it Purim or Purim?
Purim.
We're all saying different things.
No, Purim.
Okay. Yep. Well, I mean, it eventually became Home for Thanksgiving, which is so random because that's not a thing. But what did Ricky Gervais say? It's like it's too Jewish. He's like the title.
He was like, just so you just have to like tone it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But which way he meant take it out.
They're like, it's a holiday. It's like part of my life. It's like, yeah, but just less. And I was like, that's okay. this movie did a good job also by kind of talking about like how many people it takes to make a film, not just the actors, but also like makeup and like DP and like marketing, like all that stuff. And also obviously the agents and everything. Like Eugene Levy as Harry Shearer's agent is so fucking crazy.
Wow.
A plus. I actually had a meeting with an agent like that when I first moved to New York. And, you don't think that those people still exist. It feels like a trope of the 70s. And like, when I tell you they're still out and about, I mean it.
Wow, really?
Like, oh, I got my most important client here. And then, his phone rings and he's like, oh no, I'm not doing anything important. What's up?
Yeah, when Harry Shearer, when he like goes to his office, he's like, he told me to drop it. He's like, yeah, I think feature films, there's nothing there for you right now. But
get back to television, get back to commercials.
Yeah, he's dead in the water. And even I was watching and I was like, like, of course, to get a commercial like that where you're the recognizable person, like Flo the Progressive Girl or whatever, it's like amazing. But when you accept jobs like that, it does kind of change the course of your acting career. I'm sure she's fine. But it definitely does change some things.
It hinders you. It can hinder your progress. Like Party Down does a really good job of that with Adam Scott's character, because he's like in a popular like beer commercial. And so when he's catering these parties, people recognize him like, you're the "Are we having fun yet" guy, which is gotta suck getting that from new customers.
I've done a handful of commercials, and when I moved out to LA, I was meeting with agents, and one of the agents, they were like, oh, have you ever done a commercial where like you had to like talk? And I was like, oh, yes, for the audition, but in the commercial I was not talking, and I was like simultaneously like embarrassed and self-conscious about it, and at the same time I was like, actually no, it's kind of great that I was able to do 3 commercials and not really be a person of note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you still reap the benefits of being in the commercial.
Yeah, you still get your money.
So yeah, you still reap the benefits of it, and it was still a fun experience, all of them. But I would like to go and do many different types of things acting.
I mean, unless you did a commercial in like Japan, because apparently just those don't count. Those wild commercials that they
That's right. A lot of celebrities do those. Yeah.
They don't count. You can go over there and just go crazy, go ham, and come back as like, I'm a serious actor. But in Japan, I was dressed like a hot dog.
There's something chic about it.
Yeah. It's so weird. It's so weird.
It's the business class flight.
I mean, that's Hollywood, y'all. That's Hollywood. I mean, Harry Shearer, like when they're asked to do that morning show, right? Like with Fred Willard, he gets them the morning show thing.
No. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Right, and then Catherine O'Hara, she said, they ask her a question. She's like, "I'm just trying to get my bearings," and I'm like, they didn't coach them on this. Like, they just threw them to the wolves, which does happen sometimes. Because I remember I had a publicist, and they kind of sometimes threw me into some interviews where I wasn't fully aware of what was happening, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. But that is sometimes when you're promoting a project, you're thrown into stuff, and I'm like, oh well, you just got to deal with it because the studio's paying, or that's the name of the game.
Yeah, you do kind of have to have your sound bites prepared, because I think the thing that with the exception of obviously a podcast, but most of these interviews are quite short.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't really be searching for words and hemming and hawing. You gotta kind of have to know. And it wasn't really until this year when I hired a publicist, and I've been doing publicity for Blindspotting and Fanatic and whatnot, that I'm like, oh, this is why log lines are important. Like, this is why we stress, like I'm writing something new and I've been stressing over what the log line is, and I'm like, oh yeah. It doesn't really matter until way after, when people are like, oh, what's your movie about?
Yeah. You're just
people
Three
really
lines.
you really can't talk for very long because they if you really get too caught up in plot points and things, they don't really hear any of it.
Yeah, they zone out. But I will shout out our YouTube channel, mediapopcorn.com or youtube.com/mediapopcorn for our my 10-minute Zendaya interview, because she gave a 12-minute, 10-minute answer to my question, which was insane. But I'm thankful for the views.
Uninterrupted?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the question?
I don't even remember, but I asked it. It was from Malcolm and Marie, and I asked the same question to Sam Levinson, John David Washington, and then Zendaya went last, and then she just went, and I felt terrible because, like you said, Andrew, like you sometimes don't have that much time with talent, and I think Africa Group collectively had like 30 minutes, so I took half of that just from her response, and I felt terrible. I was so thankful that they invited me to the brunch because I got to meet you, but I am thankful for the views on our channel.
Well, look, I mean, Zendaya she's laser light focused. I mean, wow. So I guess I'm trying to remember specifically that time when that movie came out. That was the one that was black and white about the couple.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like that was she obviously was already a huge star, but I feel like everybody could kind of feel the tide was really turning for her around that period. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's when she started getting like into more mature like work, and people started taking her very seriously.
Yeah, and so I imagine that, listen, when anybody gets in a lane and they're feeling, inspired, you just gotta like watch out, get into it or get out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I feel like that's very where she's at, because what a rise, truly.
Yeah, she kind of, obviously, Euphoria and Spider-Man and all that, but she just blew up.
She was a Disney kid though, right?
Was she?
I believe she was, yes.
Yuvia is nodding her head, so she's our researcher. Yep. I mean, like when you're in the business for that long, like hopefully, like it's just about hitting, like you said, Andrew, that lane, figuring it out, and then because Austin Butler, he was also like a Disney kid, I believe. So all these young folks are blowing up. Speaking of folks that are blowing up, haven't talked about Parker Posey at all as the sister.
Oh my God, Parker!
I thought she was pretty funny in this too. I think this is like her breakout role, wasn't it?
Oh, see, I don't know the order. Was this the first movie? She's in Guffman and Best in Show.
Oh, Best in Show might have been her breakout one. I remember one of these was like she was everywhere for a minute. Because after that, she did Scream 3. She was in Superman, the Bryan Singer one that no one talks about. Best in Show was in 2000, so that makes sense. But I thought she was really funny in this, especially when she dumps the boyfriend.
That's an amazing scene in the parking lot. She starts crying and she doesn't feel supported. Definitely very relatable character that we all know, that person who is just like, has received news and you didn't receive her receiving it the right way. And boy, are you going to pay the price. I generally love Parker Posey and everything that she does. There's just a way about her delivery that just meshes with my sensibility. In this movie, there were other people that really tickled me a little bit more. I think I prefer her in Guffman and Best in Show more.
Got it.
But like the girl, I mean, she holds it down. That's an incredible actress.
Yeah. Even though, what were they doing with these actresses' hair in this film?
Well, I know
the
time period and also
is of the time. But I was just like, wow, this is like, they look wild.
Yeah, well, there's actually a really niche moment. I think it's at the end of in the movie, right before they announce the nominations, and all of the like hair and makeup people are fighting for their person. Like, no, I think that like she did really strong work. I mean, she's great, but like, my girl, she did the really strong work. There's that ownership that a hair and makeup person has over their actor.
It's because of me.
Yep.
Well, because I'm a storyteller too. Yeah.
I mean,
With
it's
every
true. Like,
strand of hair.
Yes.
it's true. I mean, if anything, like the events of, of this week have shown that, it's a whole system and teams that put these things together. It's not just one person on set, that makes this
Well,
magic happen.
of course, and we know that. I guess the thing that's a little disturbing is that I guess the people on top don't know that,
Yes.
maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess that's the kind of the takeaway. I was like, wait, how do they not know? Like, who do they think is doing all this work? Because I mean, even
They are. and
yeah.
apparently soon to be AI. Ugh.
Oh my God, is that not horrifying? But even like, when you read a script, I guess your average Joe doesn't read a script, but like anyone who reads a script, it's pretty if it's a well-written script, it's pretty clear that time has been poured into the document.
Yes.
Even just with with most scripts, word economy, to have that type of word economy on a page, to get that much information out to all of the different departments, the actor, that is a huge accomplishment. And as someone who's just starting my writing journey, to also be able for these people to do it on a deadline and also in concert with other writers. So it's like, it's still kind of interesting to me that when you have a writer's room, they're all breaking off and different people are writing different episodes, but they all kind of feel like the same voice.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
you
insane.
really have to be. It's a group mind that has to happen, and like I don't think like that. So like it's very that's very different. That's very different, and you really have to give it to them for being able to do that and to adjust on the fly, especially with rewrites and everything else under the sun. It's like that's crazy.
I don't know. I also, and that's the one part of the whole AI conversation. I don't really know what the support for that is, because how do you give notes on a script to AI? And I'm sure, listen, it's only a matter of time before they do figure it out. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's all a little bizarre to me. Everything that's
Yeah, but
Unless
AI
it's go ahead,
AI
sorry.
couldn't create something like this. That's the thing, is right. Like, this is talented people that work together for a long time that are able to get the funny out of each other.
Mhm.
That's the thing, is like AI can only replace so much, like without that human element. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I mean, but at the same time, a writer, writes that initial draft, or even the final script, and then then it's up to the actor to actually bring that to life, right? So it's not necessary. So it's more of a collaborative effort than anything. So a writer isn't even the end goal of the piece. The actor then takes that and then brings it to actual screen, film, or whatever you're doing. So like it's I think the fact that they're trying to give everything to AI is taking out such a strong human aspect of the whole thing of trying to make a film. And then like, how is that going to affect the acting going forward? Because it, I don't know. I just don't know how that's going to work, because for some reason it just tells me that I haven't read anything that was straight AI written. As
Oh,
far as
it's
script wise.
amazing. The Hallmark movies that they do, the AI Hallmark movies are hysterical.
And that's like, if someone actually made an AI produced Hallmark film script and then like did it word for word, it would sound absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's gonna the onus is gonna land on the actor, because the actor is gonna be like, this doesn't make sense. And then what's gonna happen?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now is the actor gonna get the writing credit? No.
Exactly. Yep.
Yep.
There's gonna be some, little loophole or something that says, it's up to the actor's interpretation or whatever, which, yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone is looking forward to an AI run like art worlds. It's kind of anti what everyone is drawn to when you turn on your television or you go and see a play, is you kind of want You either want something that is completely unthought through, like reality television, where you're seeing human interaction happen in the moment, which is thrilling. That's why we watch it for the most part until it gets too overproduced. Or you want like a thoughtful, imaginative story that's either familiar or completely unfamiliar. Familiar like, you know, The Office, or unfamiliar like Lord of the Rings. Like, you know, it's why we tune in.
Absolutely.
So all will be revealed. You know, I obviously there, you know, we've seen the stock has gone way down since the strike, and this is the second day of the strike. So I imagine, you know, they'll get what they want, or at least most of what they want, just a matter of time.
It's like 50 Cent said, "Get rich or die trying."
And has anyone checked in with him? Has he gotten rich yet?
Yeah.
How's
He did
doing?
die trying. But he came back to life after being shot 9 times. I have a question for everybody, because we all have had, you know, obviously, Andrew, you're more established as an actor that had way more of a career in that aspect. But Christopher Guest in his films, very little of the movie has a detailed script. He generally writes an outline so the actors know what needs to happen in the scene, and they do a maximum of 2 to 3 takes with no rehearsal prior to filming. How do you all feel about that? Because for me, that just raises my anxiety. I'm like, I think I'm a funny person, but oh no.
You can tell. You can tell. For me, I can tell.
I can tell you, I would thrive in that environment. I am an improviser through and through. I improvised in New York. In fact, when I was doing Hamilton in New York, I was on an improv team, and I would leave the stage door, run in the subway, and my team always had to go last. So I would like run in, meet my team, do like a warm up, and then do an improv set. I love improv and I love comedy. So I would love
Where were you at?
Yeah, where'd you perform?
Oh my God. I couldn't even tell you the nameless theaters that we performed down in some basement.
Oh, okay. So you were like a traveling group.
Yeah, we were like,
We were an indie team.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, when you do Upright Citizens Brigade, they encourage you to make indie teams, and our indie team took it very seriously. So, you know, we had, you know, and basically what happens is, you know, you do one show someplace, and then, you know, people say, oh, come and do my show here, come and do my show here. The name of our team was Brand Loyal. And you know, I wrote my first pilot with one of my teammates, and you know, it was a great time. But I actually do a lot of improvising on Blindspotting. They'll just like say, okay, just keep going. And I like to, just because like you always want to honor what's on the page. So I always do all my improv at the end of the scene, because then, you know, I did what y'all needed me to do. Here's some extra, you know, if you want it. In episode, I forget what episode it is. Oh, actually, coincidentally, it's the Thanksgiving episode of season, where there's a scene where Jasmine and I are talking, and it's tightly scripted because it's cutting between other scenes. And so we're doing the scene, and someone comes and whispers to me, they're like, hey, can you improv in the scene, but not at the end? I said, where do you want me to do it? Like, you know, I don't want to mess Jasmine up. You know, she's learned lines. And they're like, yeah, you know, just do it throughout, maybe at the beginning. And I'm like, so I start doing it, and I see Jasmine's eyes are like, what are you
Oh no.
what are you saying, sir? And so they cut, and I said, Jasmine, I'm so sorry. They told me to improvise. And she goes, oh, okay.
Just thought you went completely off script, just like, what is Andrew doing?
Well, I think that's why she was so confused, because she knows I would literally never. So that was like why she was like, this is not the type of person who would just fly off the handle.
That's good.
Yeah.
That you're like, you have that reputation of being reliable as a scene partner. Because there's
Catholic
some people
school
that
educated, baby. I love the rules.
So,
they were beaten into me by Sister Lucy, whatever.
So I was actually a Upright Citizens Brigade.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I came through the theater, and I remember I actually had one where, you know, I did the script, you know, their way, and it's like, all right, so let's just improvise one. and we're gonna do that. Just like, say whatever you want. I'm like, okay. And I improvise. It was this weird like commercial, actually kind of like ad for, it was about storytelling. So I just made up this random story. I'm a Vietnam vet, yada yada. I went completely left field. And then that became the thing that they use. And I actually got a complete writing credit for it. They're just like, hey, we're using your entire thing. And it's like, this is the new thing. And that's like,
Love
for me, it was like the best thing I've ever done. It's like, because I'm just like off the cuff, let's go.
Well, I bet it was probably some of the most natural, realistic acting you've ever done, because you were actually thinking of it on the fly. It's
Yeah. Well,
amazing
and
about that.
I know Brandon right now, because we've done a ton of things together, and Brandon's probably just like, I can't believe that, because we've done some crazy things together.
I've literally seen Justin be the main character in a short film that had a script, and Justin was just like, yeah. Every scene was just unpredictable because Justin was like, let's just have fun, guys. And oh boy.
Well, it was something that Brandon wrote a long time ago.
You will respect my words. Real quick before we get to our rating, Yubia found some interesting trivia. One is, and I forgot about this, Catherine O'Hara, ironically, had been receiving Oscar buzz about the performance in this movie. And I remember that. Like I think I read like Entertainment Weekly, like people like that might, get nominated. And it was her for this movie, but unfortunately she did not get a nomination for this movie. And even after
You're trolling her.
for for her facelift, the later half of the movie, that was just her stretching her face during takes. There was no additional makeup or aid to achieve it, which is
she was like
easy.
physically doing it.
Yep, that's just what Justin's doing.
That's
wild. Insane.
Wow. Has she ever been nominated for an Academy Award or an
I
Emmy?
don't think so.
Oh,
maybe other awards.
Nothing,
maybe
not
like
even for
Emmy.
Schitt's Creek.
I think she won for
she won for
Schitt's
Creek. Yeah, but like not a Oscar or anything like that.
Interesting.
But
Well,
she might have a Grammy because of Nightmare Before Christmas or something like that. Yeah. I'm just speculating, but I know for sure she got an Emmy because they all like that was the Emmy sweep year.
They swept. Yeah, they swept. I mean, look, she's just so freaking talented, and the range. I mean, she was. I mean, I knew her from Home Alone, being the mom, which is like not really a comedic role. She plays a mom, and she played it well. She played a bad mom well.
See, I was
Girl, how you gonna lose your baby twice? You lost your baby 2 times in a row, 2 Christmases in a row.
Child services should have been called. We talked about that on the episode. Yep. But I was introduced. I was introduced to her during Beetlejuice.
Oh yeah,
that was the first thing I think I saw her in.
Well, I'm happy. I'm genuinely really happy that she's having a career renaissance, because women especially don't usually get a chance to explore their acting abilities later on in life.
Yep.
And one of the beautiful things about acting is that you can do it at any age. So it's amazing to see her still doing the kookiest work. It's like it's still, she's still doing what she did in Guffman and Best in Show and all those, movies, just, in the 2020 something way.
She's still hilarious. And just to correct, she has an Emmy Award, a Golden Globe, a Screen Actors Guild Award, a TCA Award, and 6 consecutive Canadian Screen Awards, because I think Schitt's Creek is technically a Canadian show.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And she's 69.
Giggity.
Great number.
All right. This movie had a budget of $12 million and had a box office of 5.9 million. So it was not profitable. Which leads us to our ratings. Just to break down our rating system, baby.
Stop calling me baby. So we rate movies bags of popcorn, small, medium, large, and the XL for the exceptional. If a film doesn't deserve any popcorn, we throw it into the dog shit pile. We pile piles and piles of dog shit on top of it. So we sat down and we watched the 2006 film For Your Consideration, with just a crazy cast: Catherine O'Hara,
Stat.
Eugene Levy, Christopher Guest.
John
Right?
Krasinski had a random cameo in here.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
Yeah. There's so many people in this.
Sandra Oh was
What
randomly in
even
that
was
movie.
that? That cameo was so unnecessary because it was just the lead in to talk about Home
A
from
cop.
Home.
It was Homer Perlman, a cop movie. That was so weird.
So I ask you, Andrew, what say you, sir?
I give for your consideration a medium popcorn.
Okay.
All right.
Any reason why?
Well, it's not my favorite Christopher Guest movie, but it has very entertaining moments. The cast is stellar. And it is cringe in the right way, which is just like it's hitting on notes that are close to home for me. So I love insider showbiz type movies, but it's not really a movie that I see myself really going back to and having to dig in again and again. Not like the other ones. But it's not a small, but to me, it's not a small popcorn just because there is a lot there. There is a lot to the movie in my head. What about you guys?
Brandon?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a medium as well, just because I did laugh really hard at certain points. Like Eugene Levy, like constantly had me laughing. Catherine O'Hara, the second, the third act. I mean, just when she started doing the work, and just like it just took off a different direction. Like she clearly was losing her mind. And then when she didn't get the nomination, and they did that cruel news story where they were like, "Let's talk to the people that didn't get nominated." I'm just like, oh,
Like, come on,
no.
I got food in here.
They found Parker Posey at the diner. It was like, yo. So that made me like, I'm laughing hard now thinking about it. It's an incredibly cruel joke, but I thought it was very funny. But compared to some of the other Christopher Guest movies, I think the improvisation went a little bit too long in parts, and it was tougher for editing. I think it wasn't as seamless as like something like Best in Show or Waiting for Guffman was. It also, this is in a mockumentary style, and I think that might have helped a little bit to give us some of the extra character context. But you can't do everything the same way.
It also didn't feel as improvised as the other movies. It felt like a little more scripted to me, but I wasn't there.
Everything Jennifer Coolidge did felt improvised. I mean, when she said that, like, can you not film me? Like, I don't like people to see how my back looks or something.
You film me from the back. I don't like to be filmed from the back. Okay.
So Justin, what's your rating?
Yeah, so I'm giving this a small. I felt Brandon's like, of course you are. It was just a little bit too disjointed for me. I love Catherine O'Hara, and like I love everything she does, and like I loved when she was on screen, but it was like some of the other characters took me out of it, especially like Fred Willard and Jamie Lynch. They're like Entertainment Tonight people.
Yeah, they were insane.
Like that thing was absolutely crazy. So like but and for me, not necessarily in a good way. I was kind of just like, please take them off the screen right now.
Oh, I loved when he had his little spiked hair in the interview.
That was wild.
Oh my God, I loved all of the different looks that they had.
All the old guys try to look young. That was great.
Wearing the freaking Sherlock Holmes hat with the magnifying glass. I'm just like, what's going on here? So it was like things like that. I just thought that was, I felt like there needed to be a little bit more like grounded performances that kind of really exemplified the craziness in the film. I felt like there was too much crazy to the point where you couldn't, so it didn't really highlight the crazy that like Catherine O'Hara and some of the other characters were bringing to the role. I think our only character was the guy Brian, who was kind of, keeping it, real base, and everyone else was like kind of a little too weird.
But who are the grounded characters in Waiting for Guffman and Best in Show?
This is true. This is true.
Like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's the thing. Like this genre of film, it's just a circus.
Yeah,
that's a good way to put it. It really does feel like a circus. You're just trying to keep everyone together under the tent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. All right, Andrew, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. I'm sorry, not a great improviser. I know that you kill it, but I'm just not good at it. But please tell the listeners how they can follow you, keep up with your work, as well as Fanatic and new episodes of Blindspotting coming out.
Totally, yeah. So you can watch new episodes of Blindspotting every Friday on Starz, the Starz app or the Starz channel. And you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is at ACHAPPHAWK. I pronounce it ACHAPHAWK.
There you go.
And then, yeah, the film Instagram is at Fanatic the Film on Instagram. And yeah, there's lots of updates with our film. We just got into 2 really great festivals, and I just booked all my travel and figuring out my outfits for the cocktail parties.
Nice.
There you go.
You know how it is. But yeah, I look forward to seeing what happens with it.
Absolutely. And congratulations on all the success. We're wishing you all the best with Fanatic, and hopefully that becomes the full feature film that you're working on. But thank you so much for joining us on the show. Folks, you can follow me at American Collins, AmericanCollins.com. I have Drunk Black History coming up on Sunday, June 18th at Bell House in Brooklyn. Come through to that, as well as stand-up comedy at Comedy Outliers at Union Hall on Friday, July 7th. Tickets can be found at AmericanCollins.com. And remember, you can follow the show at Medium P Podcast and all social media platforms, MediumPopcorn.com. And Justin, if you want to support the show financially, as well as follow you, my brother, what can they do?
Well, you can follow me at J Brown Did It on all the socials. But if you'd like to support this show, take yourself on down to patreon.com/medium popcorn. We have $2, $5, $10, and $15 packages. Our entire backlog goes to Patreon. Yeah. We have so many mini episodes, bonus episodes. It's the best Patreon on the face of the earth. You need to be on there. And please leave us a voicemail, 347-508-0978.
That's right. It's been a while since we got a voicemail. Call in, tell us your thoughts. Tell us, how you felt about, for your consideration. And
curse Brandon out, guys. Just call in and curse Brandon out.
You don't have to do that, but let us know how you like it in Blindspotting on Starz, because it's a great show. And if you love the movie, please check it out. Andrew, thanks again so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Andrew.
Yep.
Take care. All right, folks. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.